Good morning, students. Welcome back to my 10th lecture of your subject code CEPC 505, Environment Engineering 2. We are still in module 3. Earlier we have described the different types of sets of sewers that we have identified different types of sewers. Then we discussed the last lecture, if you remember, that sewer appurtenances. And lastly, we closed our lecture, the 9th lecture, in the operational maintenance of the sewers. So that was the discussion till the ninth lecture in the last class. Now today I will deliberate my 10th lecture in module 3. The topic will be the hydraulic design of the sewer, partial flow diagram, nomograms. These are the associations. In associations we will teach with this that hydraulic design of the sewers. That is the main topic which we will discuss. Before starting the topic, let me give the introduction of this topic. This is a very interesting topic. As we know, the hydraulic design is our end objective of the sewerage systems. That means we'll discuss the requirements of design and planning sewerage system. Then we'll discuss the difference between the water supply system, that means the water flowing into the pipe, and the sewerage into the sewer pipes. So what is the difference between the two flow occurring? One is the water pipe, that is the fresh water, and is the sewer pipe. That we will discuss the different. Definitely very interesting. That will be the difference between the water flow and the sewage flow in the pipes in my lecture today. Then we will be discussing regarding that as a design aid, I must discuss with the provisions of the freeboards in the sewers, and we'll discuss the stormwater drains parallelly with the sanitary sewage. The different formula we'll discuss for computation of the velocity of the flow in sewers. Say the Manning's formula is a very famous formula that we'll discuss how to calculate the velocity in the sewer pipes. Then I will discuss the Chase's formula. That is also a formula calculation of the velocity of the sewer. Then Crimp and Burgess formulas will discussed, and finally I will describe the formula regarding the velocity of sewers. That is the Hazel-Winier formula. That is very important, and we will also discuss in this when we will discuss for the Hardy-Cross method, that Hazel-Winier application of the formula will elaborately discuss in the pipe distribution network also. Most fundamental thing I am going to, before delivering the lecture introductory part, I must highlight, that is the minimum velocity of self-cleaning velocity. Again and again I am telling you, as I have discussed earlier in my earlier lecture also, the minimum velocity self-cleaning has to be maintained for proper flow into the system, so that no sedimentation, siltation occurs in the sewerage pipes. Then the simultaneously maximum velocity, that is the non-scarring velocity also we'll discuss. That means we have to check the maximum flow velocity that we call is a non-scarring velocity, so that the scarring of the material will not be held. And we know the velocity of flow of sewer, the fluctuations is there. So with these fluctuations of flow, it has to be taken care. That is the fluctuations of the sewer flow. It has to be taken care in the designing of the hydraulic design of the sewer. That will be also discussed today. So finally, these computation methods are very laborious calculations. So for easy determination at a glance, the diameter, the slope of the sewer, we can use the nomograms as well as the partial flow diagrams also, which will be a part of your syllabus. So that we'll discuss. So let me share the screen. Let me share the screen first. Then I will discuss I'm going to start my lectures, that is the hydraulic design of sewer. Let me share the screen first. Yeah. So just a general consideration, I have to say that what is the sewer design, the basic purpose of the sewer layout designing of the system, that it will follow a steeper gradients, because the flow in the sewer line, the sewage flows in the sewer in gravity flow. So it will follow a steeper gradient, and ultimately this gradient is falling towards the outfall point from where it will be reached to the treatment plant, that is the sewage treatment plant. And generally, the sewer cross section is the circular sewage cross section. Now, the stormwater drains are separately constructed as surface drains. Stormwater drains, the flow from which we are calculating, we have already seen that from it is basically the pipe, circular pipe section, and the maximum quantity of sanitary sewage likely to produce from our domestic, either the domestic or the industrial. So, which are the areas contributing to the particular sanitary sewer I am talking for. And then for the stormwater drains will be the maximum storm runoff has to be calculated from the contributing catchment area where the raining occurred, and with the design frequency and duration of the storm, considering the time of concentration and all these things, terminology has already been described in my previous lecture classes. Now, the requirement of the design, coming to the point of requirement of the design and the planning of the sewerage system. How do you design? How would you take the initiative? First, take the initiative for designing into the system. First of all, the sewer size has to be adequated, so that we have to see that no overflow should occur, which may damage, which may affect our possible health hazards. So that point is very fundamental point, that sewer size has to be adequated to avoid the overflow. This is number one criteria which we must check before designing the sewer, hydraulic design of the sewer. For evaluating proper diameter of the sewer, correct estimation of the sewer discharge, obviously the diameter is proportional to the sewerage discharge. More the discharge, more diameter will be found out. So it depends on the estimation, accurate estimation of the sewerage discharge. We must have to be taken care while hydraulic design of the sewer. Again, the flow velocity inside the sewer should neither be too large as to require heavy excavation and high lifting pumping, or should be so small, should not be so small, causing deposition in the solid in the sewer. So we have to check the self-cleaning velocity, that is the minimum self-cleaning velocity which should be there for flowing the sewer into the pipe. For that the required gradient has to be maintained for that minimum velocity. Why? Because this minimum velocity you have to maintain in the sewer, so that the suspended particulate matter should not be allowed to settle and choke the passage of the sewers. Simultaneously, the maximum velocity you have to check for a smooth and maximum flow, so there will be a wear and tear of the materials. So scarring of the materials should not be happen, so damaging the cross section of the sewer pipes. So that has to be taken care. One point is the minimum flow, and another is the maximum flow. This sewer should be laid at least 2 to 3 meters deep to carry sewage from basement. Yes, obviously the basement, the sewage definitely will be coming into the sewer. So for basement, taking consider so minimum 3 meter depth has to be maintained. The sewage in sewer should flow under gravity with 0.5 to 0.8 full at design discharge, that is at maximum estimated discharge. But you see what I'm telling, under gravity 0.5 to 0.8, not the 100%, that is the full. So that cushion has to be maintained. That I will tell why it has been mentioned, but why it will be maintained. The sewerage is conveyed to point usually located in low lying area, definitely where the treatment plant is there. So high to low gradient we have to follow, sloping downward, and it has to be disposed in the outfall area, preferably in the low lying area where the treatment plant is located. Treatment plant should be designed taking into consideration the quantity of raw sewage expected to meet the desired standard. That is the treatment plant portion that I am not discussing here today, but our target is to dispose the water through a sewer pipe to the treatment plant. Now, let me at a glance, it's very interesting, that is the water supply pipes, that the water distribution pipe and the sewer pipe, what are the basic difference of these two designing aspects of these two piping system. Both are pipes. One is the water pipe, that is the drinking water pipe, another is the sewage water pipe. Let me give the comparison. Let me highlight you the comparison between the water distribution network and the sewage collection system, which as a civil engineer you must know in the hydraulic design of the sewer. Water supply pipes, as we know that this is a pure water, drinking water. This is number one, and number two, number one corresponding to the sewer pipes. This is a contaminated water. That is the basic difference, containing organic and inorganic solids, which may settle in the pipe. It can cause corrosion in the pipe. So this thing is not happening in the water supply pipe. Second point in the water supply pipe is velocity higher than self-cleaning is not essential. Why? Because suspended particulate matters are absent there. Since the sewer pipes contain contaminated particles, suspended particulate matter, that's why to avoid deposition of the solids in the pipes, self-cleaning velocity is necessary at all possible discharge. So self-cleaning velocity is very, very important terminology in case of sewer pipes, but is not in the water distribution pipes. Water supply pipe, regarding the water supply pipe, it carries water under pressure. Hence the pipe can be laid within certain limits up and down in the hills and valleys. But in sewer pipes, it carries sewage under gravity. Therefore, it is required to be laid at a continuous falling gradient downward up to the outfall point in the low-lying area, which I just now mentioned. Then the water distribution pipes are full under pressure. But in sewers are designed to run partial full at maximum discharge, not full flow, not full flow. It is a partial full, not full. I'm specifically, again, I am using the term, very, very important aspect I am using, that is a partial flow at maximum discharge. Why partial full, not full? Because the extra space ensures the non-pressure gravity flow. This will minimize the leakage from sewer. Suppose there is a leakage from sewer from the faulty joints on crack, if any, so to avoid this thing, this cushion has to be maintained. It never flows in full flow. Always a partial flow has to be taken care. Now, what are the freeboards? Taking care of the freeboards. Now, sewers, as I mentioned, that now I am going in detail. If the sewer diameter is 0.5 meter or less, then it is designed to run half full at maximum discharge. Half full means the cross-sectional area, if it is A, then A by 2. This amount of flow will be there. That I am going in, that I will solve a problem also, then you will understand clearly. And the sewers with diameter more than 0.5, 0.4 meter, obviously the depth design flow will be 2/3 to 3/4 full at maximum discharge. That means never it will occurs in full flow, that you have seen. The extra space provided in the sewer provides a factor of safety to counteract against the following factor. Why we are providing that cushion, that means partial flow, not full flow? Because of the safeguard against the lower estimation of the quantity of wastewater to be collected at the end of the design period. Suppose we have seen that our design period is 20 to 30 years. So after 30 years, if that quantity is going to increase, so that's why we are mentioning the cushion. So this is the safeguard to ensure that sewers will never flow full, eliminating pressure flow inside the sewer, because the flow runs in the gravity. So definitely the pressure flow will not be allowed. Here the gravity flow by slope, by gravity flow, it will be in sloping condition from higher to lower, it will be occurred. Now, large scale infiltration from stormwater through wrong or illegal connection through underground cracks or open joints in the sewers. Yes, stormwater infiltration ground that also enters into the sewers to the leakage, the faulty connection of the joints and valves and all these things. So that's why for entering of the storm water, that is the rainwater, that also can take place into the pipe of the sewer. So that cushion has been taken. That's why we have taken the partial flow, not the full flow. And unforeseen increase in population definitely will increase the consumption of the water, and the consequent increase in sewage production also may take place. For that, we are taking that cushion. So now we'll come to the point of stormwater drain. As we know, the stormwater drain, this is the standard guidelines is there for the freeboard. We are maintaining minimum 3 meter. Freeboard is generally provided in the stormwater drain. but this flow is occurred uh, under the pressure. Uh, so hydraulic formula for determining the flow velocities, that formula, ultimately this is a very important topic which you have to find out the velocity of the sewage flow, based on which the diameter of the pipe uh, basically is determined. So what are the formulas? Let me discuss the formula. What are the formulas are there for which the velocity of flow can be determined? Most important formula is the Manning's formula. First, I must discuss you V equal to 1 by n r to the power 3 s to the power half or s to the power 0.5. What is V? The velocity of flow in sewer in meter per second. You must pay attention regarding the unit part of the velocity, that is the velocity in meter per second. What is R? R is the hydraulic mean depth of flow, that is area by weighted perimeter, and I am just concentrating the portion. Area divided by weighted perimeter, not the full perimeter. Suppose if pipe flows in full, then pi d is the full perimeter. If pipe flows half, then pi d by 2 is the weighted perimeter. That means the contacted surface with the water, that weighted perimeter has to be taken into consideration while calculating the hydraulic mean depth. And the formula is area by weighted perimeter is a very important parameter which is being used in every formula for calculating the velocity in the sewer. Small is cross section of the flow. Cross section area of the flow, not cross section area of the pipe. That means if I say it is a full flow, then pi d square by 4. If it is a half flow, then obviously a by 2, pi d square by 8. So this is like this, cross section of the area of the flow, not the area of the pipe. That you have to take care while calculating the numerical sum. P is the weighted perimeter in meter, as I have told you, and N is the rigorosity coefficient, depends upon the type of the channel surface, that is the piping material, and it lies between 0.011 to 0.015. So minimum value of N is 0.011 and maximum value of N is 0.015. For brick sewer, it should be 0.017 and 0.03. For stone facing sewer, that is the exceptional case. I have already, I am just going to mention you. Otherwise, we will follow this range. Now, what is the S? S is very important. For that, the flow is possible throughout the sewer line, as I have seen. It flows in gravity, so definitely hydraulic gradient should be there. It is a slope. That means the gradient equal to inverse slope to uniform flows. Now this is the Manning's formula. Now coming to the another formula, that is the Chezy's formula. What this formula gives us? V equal to C equal to R by half S to the power half. What is C? Chezy's constant, and remaining variables are same. So only thing here added is Chezy's constant in place of the N rigorosity coefficient in the Manning's. Remaining portion R is the hydraulic radius, as I mentioned in my earlier formula, that is the Manning's formula, and S is the hydraulic gradient, that is the slope of the pipe. Next, I will come to the point of the third formula, that is the Crimp and Burgess formula, that is V equal to 83.5 R to the power 13 S to the power half. So this is the Burgess formula. Hazen-Williams formula is very important in pipe distribution Hardy-Cross method. When I will discuss about the network related analysis, then this formula will be used. Hazen-Williams formula V equal to 0.849 C R to the power 0.60 S to the power 0.54. So this is the all the formulas which will give us the velocity of flow, which is very much required, because if velocity of flow we can determine, then we can find the discharge of the flow, which is related with the diameter as well as slope, and the hydraulic radius, that is the area by weighted perimeter. Now in Hazen-Williams coefficient C varies with life and the pipe. That means if the pipe is new, then we can consider the value is more. If the pipe in long run, in time, if it is deteriorated, that means older pipe, then its value will get reduced. So to give you a average idea, for example, for RCC new pipe, it is 150 and the value recommended for design is 120. As the pipe interior may become rough with time. So the design value of C for AC pipe, plastic pipe, CI pipe, and steel lined with cement are respectively 120, 120, 100, and 120. So this is the I am giving you some idea about the Hegelian value C corresponding to the piping material and corresponding to the age of the pipe, whether it is a new pipe and old pipe. Now we have to see very important parameter I am going to describe for the hydraulic design of sphere. That is the minimum velocity. Self-cleaning velocity is very important. What is minimum self-cleaning velocity? Now velocity that would not permit the solids to settle down and even scour the deposited particles of a given size is called the self-cleaning velocity. That means the minimum velocity should be developed once in a day so as not to allow in deposition, formation of silt into the sewers. Otherwise, the deposition takes place and it will obstruct the free flow as it will choke the piping cross section. So we are very careful to check the minimum velocity while discussing about the hydraulic design of the sewer, while calculating the velocity, while calculating the diameter of the pipe. This minimum velocity checking is mandatory for the hydraulic design of the sewer. And how it is calculated? The formula is given by Vs equal to, as I am showing you my lecture, Vs equal to square root of 8K by F into SS minus 1 into GD. This is the formula I am just showing you, everybody. So what is the K? K is a constant for clean or inorganic solids is 0.04 and organic solids is 0.06. That means for organic solids the self-cleaning velocity should be more, but inorganic solids comparatively compared to the organic solids the self-cleaning velocity will be less, which is obvious because the organic solids have a tendency for making the siltation, for making the precipitation, sedimentation. So that's why its value is 0.06 and that value is 0.04. What is F? Now Darcy's Weisbach friction factor, that is the 0.03, is a constant value for the sewers that we can consider. SS is the specific gravity of the sediments. Specific gravity of the sediment particles, obviously the particles specific gravity. G is the acceleration due to gravity as the vertical flow, as the gravity flow occurs, and D the diameter of the particle grain, not the pipe diameter. This is the diameter of the particle grain constant for deposition. So if these things are known to you, then the minimum self-cleaning velocity at least once in a day you have to check, and this is for maintenance purpose, operation maintenance also has to be taken care, that we have discussed in my previous lectures. So for removing the impurities, what we have learned, suppose if we talk about the inorganic particles, say sand, up to 1 millimeter diameter, say, with specific gravity 2.65, generally the sand specific gravity 2.65, and organic particles of 5 millimeter diameter and specific gravity 1.2, it is necessary that a minimum velocity of about 0.5 meter per second and an average velocity of about 0.9 meter per second should be developed in sewers. That is by experimental facts, physical observation, we have seen that minimum velocity 0.5 meter has to be maintained for this type of particle matter with diameter and specific gravity of the particle, and an average velocity of 0.9 meter per second should be adopted in sewers. So that has to be taken care of, the minimum velocity of the sewer and the average velocity of the sewer. Hence, while finalizing the sizes and gradients, the sewers, they must be checked for the minimum velocity and the minimum discharge, that is about 1/3 of the average discharge. Okay. While designing the sewers with flow velocity at full depth is generally kept at about 0.8 meter per second if it is full depth. Since sewers are generally designed for half to 3/4 full, the velocity of all design discharge, that means half to 3/4 full, will be more than 0.8 meter per second. Thus, the minimum velocity generated in sewers will help in the following ways. How it will help? Minimum velocity or non-scaling velocity will help in the following ways, means adequate transportation of suspended solids that will be carrying along with the flow of the sewers, keeping the sewer size under control, so it will not allow to choke the material cross section. So the size of the sewer pipe will be maintained, preventing the sewage from decomposition by moving it faster, thereby preventing evolution of the foul gas. So these are the advantageous positions we'll get for maintaining the minimum velocity of the sewer. Now we'll discuss the thing that is the maximum velocity or non-scouring velocity, because if the interior surface of the pipe gets scoured due to continuous abrasion caused by suspended solids, this scouring is produced with the higher velocity. That has to be checked. So if the scouring is occurred day to day, then piping material will be damaged. So these wear and tear of the sewer pipes will reduce the span of the pipe and thus the carrying capacity of the sewer also. In order to avoid this, it is necessary to limit the maximum velocity of the sewer, maximum velocity of flow in the sewer pipe. This limiting or non-scouring velocity depends on the material of the sewer, and the limiting velocity of the sewer is already given in this table that I am showing to everybody. That if it is a material of 55 tiles, that means it's very smooth surface. So limiting velocity is 4.5 meter in 5.5 meter wide, meter per second. Because it's a smooth surface, there is a less chance of the abrasion, wear and tear. But if you talk about the rough, like brick and lime sewer, then obviously the limiting velocity has to be maintained very low value. That is the 1.5 to 2.5 that you can see from the table, because there the chances of the wear and tear is much more. So it is depending on the type of the material, that is a smooth surface or rough surface we are maintaining in the sewer. So that gives us the guideline for the maximum value of the velocity of the sewer that you have to maintain as a non-scouring velocity, so the scouring should be avoided. I will discuss in this lecture today the effect of flow variations on velocity in a sewer. How does the flow variations will affect in the velocity of sewers? Because we have seen in our previous lectures the flow fluctuates, season to season, climate to climate, flow fluctuates. So when there is a variation of the in depth of flow occurs, definitely a very vital effective parameter, that is the hydraulic mean depth, HMD, will be affected. So due to change in HMD, there occur change in flow velocity. Velocity also will change, because it is proportional to, as I have seen from the Manning's formula, R to the power 2/3. So R to the power 2 to the power 2/3, R whole to the power 2/3. So if R is changed, then the velocity will be changed, as because the 2/3 power of that item is going to change. So therefore, it is necessary to check the sewer for minimum velocity of about 0.4 meter per second at the time of minimum flow also, because if the depth of flow during the flow fluctuation changes, then obviously it is going to impact for the radius of I need to say the hydraulic radius R, and obviously it will impact in the flow. So the minimum flow has to be maintained 1/3 of the average flow, and flow velocity should be maintained 0.9 to 1.2 meter per second. It should be developed at a time of average flow. So the velocity should also be checked for limiting velocity, that is the non-carrying velocity at the maximum discharge. As we have checked for the minimum, so maximum discharge also it has to be checked. Then I am just giving you, before closing my lecture today, I am just showing you the example which we have learned today regarding a hydraulic sewer design. So before closing this lecture today, I must highlight one example to clarify much more what we have fundamentally learned from the hydraulic sewer design. One numerical, I am just giving one example. Suppose a sewer has to be designed with a maximum discharge of 650 liter per second, running half full. Please take care, it is mentioned that running half full. Considering Manning viscosity coefficient n equal to 0.012, gradient sewer S equal to 0.0001. This is given in the question. You have to find out a sphere. That means you have to determine the diameter. You have to design the diameter of the sphere. You have to design a sphere means you have to determine the diameter of the sphere, as because the discharge is given in the question. The very fundamental thing, we know that Q equal to AV, that we know. So that will be often that is the discharge and velocity ratio, Q equal to AV. What is Q? Q is given in the question 650 liter per second. That means if we convert it in the meter cube per second, then it is 0.65 meter cube per second. So substitute Q in place of Q is 0.65. Now what is A? The circular cross section area is pi d square by 4, but since it is given in the running half full, we are talking for the cross section area of the flow, not the pipe. So pi d square by 4 divided by 2 is pi d square by 8. So this is one part. Now V, what is the V? Gives us the relation in Manning's formula, 1 by n r to the power 2/3 s to the power half. So R is A by P. A by P means here R is D by 4, because perimeter is R A means pi d square by 8 and perimeter means pi d by 2. So you will get pi d by pi omitted, you will get D by 4. So if you compute by area by weighted perimeter, ultimately you will be found out the relation R equal to D by 4. So R can be substituted as D by 4. So if we equate the equation, only unknown is R, only unknown is D, because R is substituted by D, N value is given, S value is also given. So from this equation, one unknown is there, that is the D, and it is found out 1.82 meter. If the pipe is partially full, it is not easy to solve this equation and it is time consuming. So then we'll talk about the different thing, whether we'll give how to solve these partial flow problems. That I will definitely deliver you in the next lecture. That is my 11th lecture in the next class. So before closing this day, I must say this, today I have discussed about the preliminary concepts of the hydraulic sphere of the design. Aspects of the design, steps of the design I have already discussed with you in detail. The numerical formulas I have described. I am going to post this lecture today in the Google Classroom. You can go to this Google Classroom, and then in the live class, live interaction, there will be a one-to-one interaction will be there for clarifying the questions, queries, if any you have. And simultaneously, next class we will discuss about the nomograms, partial flow diagrams to solve the complicated problems which cannot be solved easily by applying the formula. That we will see how to solve this problem. And finally, we will conclude the module with solving some numerical problems for further clarifying the idea. Thank you very much. So stay well, stay happy. So I am closing this day. Thank you. Thank you very much.